Today is Navadvip Parikrama Adhivas preparation. Parikrama means you will visit the holy places where Supreme Lord did or is doing his pastimes, like pilgrimage. So we already started yesterday by reading from this book Navadvip Mahatmya, 2 chapters. Today is chapter 3. All glories to Shri Sachinandan Mahaprabhu, the moon of Shri Navadvip. All glories to Shri Nityananda Prabhu, the Avadhut. All glories to Shri Advaita Acharya. All glories to Shri Gadadhar Pandit and Shri Vas Pandit. All glories to the holiest of all holy abodes, Shri Navadvip Dham. Shri Gaura Chandra descended together with this Dham. This is his abode, place of pastime. Together he came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with Navadvip Dham. O devotees, I will now describe the different places within the 16 koshas of Navadvip. All of you should listen. 16 rivers are situated eternally in the 16 koshas of Shri Navadvip Dham. 4 dvipas or islands exist eternally on Ganga's eastern bank, and on her western bank are 5 islands. Navadvip means 9 islands. Dvip is island. So for this side of Ganga, 5. Swardhuni or Bhagavati, Bhagirathi, Ganga flows encircling all these islands, thus eternally increasing the splendor of Shri Navadvip Dham. The original Ganga Devi always flows through the center of Navadvip Dham, and many other rivers who purify the world flow here and there throughout Shri Navadvip Dham. Beautiful Shri Jamuna Maharani flows with Bhagavati Bhagirathi Ganga next to the western bank, and the presiding goddess of learning Saraswati flows within another stream. In the eastern part of the Jamuna, the strong and swift rivers Tamraparni, Kritamala and Brahmaputra flow. Brahmaputra is going through the birthplace of Gurudev, Gwalpara, Dham. Gurudev sometimes used to mention that Brahmaputra river, where he used to do his childhood pastime also. Sarayu, that is in Ayodhya, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, Gomati, and other holy rivers who purify this world flow with mighty speed together with Shri Godavari. As separate currents, these rivers divide Shri Navadvip into 9 parts. According to the Lord's desire, these rivers sometimes dry out and then again become filled with water. According to the Lord's desire, a place will sometimes become immersed in water and then again give darshan. Although the Dham continuously performs pastimes in this way, it is always manifest for the most fortunate person. Those who have spiritual eyes, they can always see. The devotee who has a strong desire within the heart to behold these rivers will attain darshan of all the islands and rivers. This kind of devotee will sometimes attain, by the help of his devotion, a vision of the Dham in dreams, sometimes in meditation, and sometimes even directly with his eyes. This is also for darshan of Gurudev or Supreme Lord. One can get in dream or in meditation, or directly he will appear. Like Dhruva saw in meditation, and Prabhupada saw in dream Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jiva Goswami, and Dhruva also saw directly when Narayan appeared. And here Jiva also will see. All holy scriptures call the island formed at the confluence of the rivers Ganga and Jamuna Antardvip. Sriman Mahaprabhu took birth in Mayapur Jogapit in the center of Antardvip. Gokul Mahavan in Golok corresponds with Mayapur in Sri Navadvip Dham. Shvetadvip, Vaikuntha, Goloka and Sri Brindaban are always splendidly situated in Sri Navadvip Dham. According to Sriman Mahaprabhu's arrangement, the 7 holy cities, Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya or Haridwar, Kashi, Kanchi, Avanti and Dwaraka are eternally situated in their respective places in Sri Navadvip Dham. The city Maya or Haridwar at Gangadwar is situated in its actual form in Mayapur. The excellence of this place is described repeatedly throughout the scriptures. One who even once visits Mayapur, the residence of all sacred places, easily crosses the material realm. One who wanders throughout Mayapur becomes freed from the control of the illusory energy and from taking birth in this material world again. Rules for performing Sri Navadvip Dham Parikrama. Simantadvip is situated to the north of Sri Mayapur. With regard to the procedure of Parikrama, saints and holy scriptures consistently state, O learned devotees, please proceed to Sri Simantadvip after visiting Antardvip Sri Mayapur. After visiting Simantadvip, take darshan of the island named Godrum, situated south of Mayapur, then blissfully go to Madhyadvip. These 4 islands, Antardvip, Simantadvip, Godrundvip and Madhyadvip, are situated on the river Jannavi's eastern bank. Jannavi is Ganga, another name. After taking darshan of them, reverentially cross the river Jannavi Ganga, then take darshan of the other 5 islands, Koladvip, Ritudvip, Jannudvip, Madanadvip, Rudradvip. There. Effortlessly walk around Koladvip and then behold the splendor of Ritudvip. O best of scholars, afterwards proceed to the supremely beautiful Jannudvip and then continue to Modadrum Dvip. After visiting Modadrum Dvip, take darshan of Rudradvip, then again cross the Ganga and walk to Mayapur. At that time, Rudradvip was also on that side of Ganga. Now it is on this side. No need to cross Ganga to go. In Mayapur, respectfully enter Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi's temple, Jogapit, to take darshan of Mahaprabhu. This is always the procedure for performing the 16 koshas Navadvip Parikrama. This parikrama is the abode for the jivas to attain unlimited happiness. According to the opinion of all devotees, the best time for performing parikrama is from Makari Saptami to Falguna Purnima. One who, after completing the Parikrama of Shri Navadvip Dham, takes darshan of Mayapur on Shri Gaur Purnima, will attain qualification for bhakti through the mercy of the Shaith of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's and Shri Nityananda's divine feet. In this chapter, I have in brief presented a description of the Parikrama. Now, in the following chapters, I will describe it in detail. Please listen attentively. One who performs Parikrama of the 168 miles of Shri Gaura Mandal quickly obtains the treasure of Gaura Prema. Bhakti Vinod, whose only desire is to attain the cooling shade of the lotus feet of Shri Nityananda Prabhu and Shri Jannava Devi, reveals this truth. Chapter 4. All glories to Shri Sachinandan, the moon of Navadvip. All glories to Shri Nityananda Prabhu, the Avadhut. All glories to the essence of all holy abodes, Shri Navadvip Dham, where Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended. O brother, the result one obtains by residing at any of the other holy places for many days will be received by residing for only one day in Shri Navadvip. Listen, O saintly persons, as I sing the description found in the scriptures of the Parikrama of this Shri Navadvip Dham. The message of the holy scriptures, the words of the Vaishnavas, and the order of Sriman Mahaprabhu, these three are the treasures of my life. Taking shelter of these three, I will describe the procedure of Shri Navadvip Parikrama. All of you, please listen. When Shri Jiva Goswami gave up his home, he called out, Nadia, Nadia, with an anxious heart. Nadia means this, Navadvip. For the entire journey from his place of residence in Chandradvip to Shri Navadvip Dham, streams of tears flowed from his eyes. While crying, he called out with a loud voice, O life of the living entities, O Shri Gauranga, O Nityananda Prabhu, when will you bestow your mercy upon me and give me your darshan? Alas, alas, O Shri Navadvip Dham, the essence of all holy abodes, when will I receive your darshan? Repeatedly crying out like this, he continued on his way. Shri Jiva Goswami's unprecedented beauty was due to his youthfulness, his handsome, well-built body, and his extreme renunciation. After many days of walking, Shri Jiva Goswami reached Shri Navadvip Dham. His heart was always overwhelmed with feelings of prema. Seeing Shri Navadvip Dham from a distance, he offered his obeisances and became unconscious. After some time, he calmed down. With the hairs on his body standing on end, he entered Shri Navadvip Dham. Upon arriving at Barakona Ghat, he inquired from everyone, Where is Shri Nityananda Prabhu? Please show me. Seeing Shri Jiva Goswami immersed in deep ecstasy, a virtuous man took him to where Shri Nityananda Prabhu was staying. Shri Nityananda Prabhu knew in his heart that Shri Jiva was coming to see him right then. Extremely blissful, he laughed loudly. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ordered his servants to search for Shri Jiva and bring him near to him. Many Vaishnavas went here and there, searching and calling out for Shri Jiva. When they saw Shri Jiva Goswami's body decorated with divine ecstatic symptoms, they could understand that this was, without a doubt, Jiva Goswami. Someone came forward and with great prema told Jiva about Shri Nityananda Prabhu's order. Upon hearing the name of Shri Nityananda Prabhu, Shri Jiva became unconscious and fell to the ground, only hearing the name of Nityananda Prabhu. After some time, Shri Jiva got up and said, I am most unfortunate. Even such a wretched person as me has. I am most fortunate, not unfortunate. I am most fortunate. Even such a wretched person as me has received the mercy of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. With a joyful heart, Shri Jiva Goswami offered his prostrated obeisances to all those Vaishnavas and prayed, if all of you bestow your mercy upon a person like me, then I can also attain the lotus feet of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. All the Shastras proclaim this. Seeing the great fortune of Shri Jiva Goswami, some of the Vaishnavas took the dust of his feet and observed a festival. In other words, with delighted hearts, they smeared that dust over their bodies. They all took Jiva Goswami to Shri Nityananda Prabhu, who was from time to time singing the pastimes of Shri Krishna in the midst of many Vaishnavas. Upon seeing the transcendental form of Shri Nityananda Prabhu, extraordinary transcendental emotions arose in the body of Shri Jiva Goswami. Ah, what an unprecedented beauty I behold today! Exclaiming like this, Shri Jiva fell to the ground unconscious. Shri Nityananda Prabhu, who is supremely compassionate, lifted Jiva up and accepted him as his own associate. Shri Jiva Goswami, overcome with emotion, stood up with folded hands and began to speak to Shri Nityananda Prabhu. O Lord, you are the forum of the universe, the abode of the universe, and directly Shri Balaram. What do I know of your noble virtues? You are my eternal master, and I am your eternal servant. My only longing is to attain shelter at your lotus feet. One who receives your mercy can easily attain Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet and become immersed in nectar-like prema. Even if someone worships Sri Gauranga in his heart for hundreds of births, without your mercy, he will not be able to attain Sriman Mahaprabhu. If Sri Gaura Hari wishes to punish someone, you can protect him. But if you punish someone, Sriman Mahaprabhu will never protect that person. Therefore, O Lord, on the strength of my pious credits, I have received shelter at your lotus feet. Please give me your mercy and approval that I may obtain Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's darshan and develop attachment to him. In my childhood, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu visited the village of Ramakeli and gave my two uncles shelter at his lotus feet, means Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. Since that time, when my tear-filled eyes first beheld the form of Sri Gaura, this same form has appeared constantly within my heart. I fell at Sri Gauranga's lotus feet and offered my obeisances. Touching his divine body, I became filled with great happiness. At that time, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu told me, O Jiva, now study the holy scriptures. When you have finished, go to Sri Navadvip, where you will receive everything at the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Being destitute, I took his order to heart and learned as much as I could. In Chandradip, I studied literature and other subjects, but I could not find any Vedanta Acharya to my liking. Sriman Mahaprabhu instructed me to study the Vedanta and to reveal Krishna Bhakti in accordance with it. Now I have come to Navadvip and surrendered unto your lotus feet. I will carry out whatever order you give me. If you give me permission, I will go to Sri Kshetra Mandal, means Puri. There I may take darshan of the Lord's lotus feet and study Vedanta at the residence of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Vedanta. Vedanta is not easy to understand, and Upanishads very difficult, and Vedic mantras all. So only certain, those who are qualified Brahmins, they are able to study that. Others will not understand and they may misuse. That is why they were not allowed. But for those, Vyasadeva wrote Mahabharata, and within it Gita. Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. And Puranas. Puranas, the teaching of the Vedas and Upanishads, all they're given through some stories like this. And the best of all Puranas is Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahapuran. That will rescue us in this Kali Yuga, Bhagavatam. And there everything is very clearly written. Narad Goswami chastised Vyasadeva, you did not clearly write about devotion to Supreme Lord. That is why you are not happy. So then by his grace he wrote. So if we take shelter of Bhagavatam, then we will get all, because this is the ripe fruit of all Vedic scriptures. After hearing the sweet words of Jiva, Sri Nityananda Prabhu took him on his lap and, unable to check himself, began to weep. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, hear my confidential words. Rupa and Sanatan know all the established philosophical truths. Sriman Mahaprabhu has ordered me to tell you to neither go to Kshetra Mandal, means Puri, nor to stay here. Everyone knows that you and the two brothers, Rupa and Sanatan, are Mahaprabhu's one-pointed servants. My order to you is this. Go to Varanasi and study Vedanta under Sri Madhusudan Vachaspati. From there, go straight to Vrindavan, where you will receive the mercy of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. Under the guidance of Sri Rupa, worship the divine couple Sri Radha Krishna and deliberate upon the Vedanta and other Shastras. You should preach that the spotless Mahapuran, Srimad Bhagavatam, is the essence of all holy scriptures and the genuine commentary on Vedanta Sutra. You know already that while bestowing his mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sri Gaura Hari explained Sri Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutra according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarvabhauma carefully taught this knowledge to Sri Madhusudan Vachaspati in Sri Jagannath Puri. On the order of the Lord, this same Madhusudan Vachaspati now lives in Varanasi. You should go there and meet him. Externally, Madhusudan Vachaspati is a traditional Vedantist who teaches sannyasis of the Shankar Sampradaya, impersonalists. However, at the appropriate time, when they have developed faith, Shraddha, he gives mercy to them by conveying the meaning of the sutras in accordance with Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's explanations. So one needs this faith, Shraddha. Then he can understand by the means of that Shraddha what is the actual meaning of Vedanta Sutra. It has to be revealed to you. So unless there is Shraddha, means surrender, you cannot understand. Now, there is no need to write a separate commentary on the Vedanta Sutra because all the sutras are truly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. You will find in Vedanta Sutra, Atatho Brahma Jigyasa, Janma de Asya Jata, Shastra Yonitvat. Now it is the time to inquire into Brahma, with short A at the end, Brahma, not Brahma, but Brahma. Brahma, four-headed Brahma, demigod is Brahma with long A at the end. This is Brahma, means absolute truth. Because there is prior investigation of Jaimini Rishi, that is Purva Mimamsa, and then there is later investigation that is called Uttar Mimamsa, that is Vedanta. In Purva Mimamsa, the karma kant is there. And later, when one already fulfilled all those things, so atato, thereafter, now it is time to inquire into Brahma, eternal truth. Eternal truth. And this is the first sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now, therefore, now it is time to inquire. Then, next sutra is Janma Dhyasayata. Brahma is that from whom everything comes. And third sutra, third or fourth, is, I think third, Shastra Yonitvat. You cannot know about Brahma without Shastra. Only Shastra, divine scriptures, they can reveal Brahma. Like you cannot know who is your father unless mother tells you. Like that, Shastra is revealing who is our father. So, in Upanishads, and here it is not very clear of Brahma, and sometimes speaking Nirvikar, Nirvishesh, these things. So, many they come to the impersonalistic understanding. But in Bhagavatam, in first verse, it is very clearly stated that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then Janma di Asya Jata, that Krishna is that person from whom everything comes. And he imparted knowledge to Brahma and all this. And he is Satyam Param, supreme truth. So we all meditate on that supreme truth. So it is very clear what is meant by Brahma. And then all further sutras are in very clear description. They are there. Vedanta is more abstract. You need one proper teacher, realized soul, from appearing in preceptorial channel to understand it. Otherwise, it is impossible. So, if one will read Bhagavatam, then he will get all Vedic knowledge in a very nice way. And Bhagavatam second verse starts that this Bhagavatam is not cheating you. There is no cheating dharma here. For any other dharma, artha, kama, moksha, it is not there. Only Krishna prema is targeted. That is the goal. So whole Bhagavatam is to show that devotion to Supreme Lord is best for all jivas and in different yugas and everything. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is the essence of Bhagavatam. There even more clearly and directly, and only this topic is explained. So we are very fortunate in this Kali Yuga. We got Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita. There you will get everything what you need to know. But today I also heard from one devotee, she very nicely said, we get many informations and then it is, you don't know what to do with this all. But when I was with my Gurudev, then everything fell into its right place and you can understand and everything. That is the purpose. Realize the soul is necessary. That is why Gurudev also said that teacher should not have only theoretical knowledge, but he must be realized soul, surrendered soul. Then it is possible to get proper meaning. Gurudev also told after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu, all books were there, but many apasampradayas came up because no one could understand, because not being surrendered. So Mahaprabhu had to send Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Prabhupada, surrendered soul, to teach. That is why to reveal what is the actual, and by their grace you can actually understand. Like before, in ancient times, in Vedic culture, there were this Gurukula system, education. So there, the students, they had to live with Guru and serve him. It is not that they will just go and hear some lecture and go like nowadays, the secular education. Before, one had to respect the Guru and his wife and had to serve Guru and learn and everything there. Then, by the causeless mercy of Guru, when he became pleased, by his blessing, you could understand. That is the way how you can gain that transcendental knowledge. It is by the blessing. We cannot get it by intellect. It must be through surrender and blessing. So here also, Madhusudan Vachaspati, he was teaching, and when he saw they have faith, that faith was awakened by Sukriti, then he taught them this devotion, which is actually in Vedanta. Before that, they are unable to understand. That is why also you are not to give Harinam initiation to those who have no faith, because they will misuse it. Like if you throw pearls to swines or pearl necklace to monkey, they don't know the value of that, so they will tear it or trample on it. They will stand, means disrespect or misuse or anything. But only those who have faith, they can receive it properly and they will serve. That is why also it is mentioned in Bhagavatam that ladies and Shudras and all these, they are not to study Vedic scriptures, these 4 Vedas, Upanishads, all this, because they are unable to understand. So for them Mahabharata is given and further. So they are not deprived, but they are getting it through this way. So it is out of compassion. And all jivas of Kali Yuga, they are getting Srimad Bhagavatam. It is open for all. And Harinam. Harinam is the topmost of all transcendental sounds. That verse Rupa Goswami, he told. Oi Mukta Kule Rupasya Manam and all the Shruti Mauli Ratnamala Dutin Rajata Pada Pankajanta. Shruti Mauli Ratnamala Dutin. The all Shrutis, they are worshipping Harinam. So if one receives Harinam and serves Harinam properly, he serves properly, then what he is missing? Under the guidance of pure devotee, when one receives holy Harinam and serves Harinam, then what is he missing? What is he deprived of? Nothing. He's getting more. One, our God brother, he had some period of time when he used to engage everyone in chanting Om in public version like this Om to get some experience. So there was one program with him and also Srila Budayan Maharaj came on the border of Italy. So that time our God brother, he was doing Om, and then after Srila Budayan Maharaj spoke Harikatha and he said Om is okay, but Harinam is much superior than chanting Om. And he gave one example from his own life, how he was protected one time and like this. So he explained, I don't remember all details, but I remember this, that chanting Harinam is much superior than chanting Om. And it is true. This is called Mahamantra. Om is like a seed, everything coming out, Veda, all this Gayatri, everything. But ultimately, it is as Harinam. So we directly received Harinam fruit. So why you are thinking? Harinam is topmost. And we can serve by the grace of pure devotees. So now there is no need to write a separate commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, because all the sutras are truly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. When there will be need for a commentary, Sri Govinda Bhasya will manifest itself. Need because they will the Supreme Lord will want to manifest that commentary. So that pastime is made. The Ramanujas, they will challenge. And it is presented, although there is no necessity, but it is presented to show that what is actually really written in Vedanta Sutra. For those who will go by that side. Like when during the time of Mahaprabhu, historically, if you see, first the Brahmins, they were doing this in Kali Yuga. They became more Shaktas, like they were worshipping Kali and this, and for material benefits and doing sacrifices of animals like this. So they degraded. They were not worshipping Supreme Lord. So they misused. So then Buddha Siddhartha Gautam came and he stopped that. Violence, he said, non-violence is the best. And compassion and this. So the whole India was converted to Buddhist, and there was no Vedic culture because he rejected Vedas. Then again Shankaracharya had to come to re-establish the Vedic principles, but he gave some not complete philosophy, but he re-established. Then Ramanuja came, Madhva, all these four acharyas, they preached bhakti, which is the essence of Vedas. Then Mahaprabhu came, so he told everyone has a right to chant God's name. So he gave stress on bhakti through chanting Harinam. And everyone is eligible for this. No Brahmin, Shudra, that, no, nothing. Anyone, Jiva, they should take shelter of Supreme Lord and chant his name to satisfy. They will get everything. Krishna Prema. It is true. And even those who were renounced in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were not like sannyasis and this, following these rules of renounced order in this. No, they were paramahamsas, like beyond society. They were doing Babaji, Paramahamsa, so they were worshipping Krishna by chanting and remembering and all this, not following this Vedic, all these things. And ladies also, they were either household or renounced, but they were not following these Vedic things, because they were following the essence, the point of Vedas, that is devotion and Harinam. So, but then when it became degraded, they lost. Then other people, they saw this Mahaprabhu teaching, this is for some immoral people, and they are like renounced, but then they're having illicit sex connection, all this, so they lost faith in Mahaprabhu. Whole society lost faith. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur came and Prabhupada came, and then Prabhupada introduced this sannyas into Gauriya Vaishnavism. Before it was not there. Sannyas. And all these things. Why? Because it was necessary to show like some proper moral, this character and Vedic, all these things he made, so that society again will have faith. And he will show the real, what is the real teaching and everything. So for this purpose it was necessary. Otherwise it is not necessary. And Brahma Gayatri, this was also not given before to anyone in Gauriya line. No, not necessary. They were chanting Harinam, and if necessary those Pancharatrik Diksha mantras, ladies, men, both. No Brahma Gayatri was given. But Prabhupada gave, because at that time some Brahmins, they were committing offense to Vaishnavas, considering them as low class, and Vaishnavas were thinking, yes, we are really low class. So in order to prevent this, for the sake of devotion, he started to give this. This was the necessity. But otherwise there is no necessity for this. It was due to such situation. But the main point of Mahaprabhu's teaching is surrender, devotion through chanting Harinam. Then you will get everything. So here also, there is no need for separate Vedanta Sutra commentary. But because they challenged, then it was necessary to show. Like that, Prabhupada had to show that Mahaprabhu teaching is actually not a moral thing, and it is in Vedic and everything. It is cultured, it is civilized. It is not like some for low class immoral some people. No, it is civilized, and this he gave. So that was necessity. So like here, the because all the sutras are truly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. If one, like that, if one is chanting Harinam, he is chanting everything. All mantras he is chanting. If chanting properly under the guidance of pure devotion, with faith and devotion, without offenses, then there is no need to chant anything else. But they misused, so it was necessary to show that this is, all this structure is there, this supporting. When there will be need for a commentary, Sri Govinda Bhasya will manifest itself. Because Gopinath Acharya is related to Sarvam Bhattacharya, he also heard the commentary from Sri Mahaprabhu's mouth when Mahaprabhu explained it to Sarvam. Because Sarvam was already Mayavadi, he was all the time studying and teaching Vedanta. So Mahaprabhu had to explain to him in accordance with Vedanta. But if someone is not through that like procedure, like ladies or so, they don't know any Vedanta, nothing. So what is the necessity for them to that you will explain what Vedanta says? Not that directly they can hear Srimad Bhagavatam, or even that is not necessary. Directly they can serve Krishna and chant his name. You have evidence in Bhagavatam. They were those Brahmins, very great pandits, and they were chanting Om and everything, all mantras, doing yagya, everything they were doing, offering. But when Krishna and Baladev came and cowherd boys, they requested for food, they could not give because they were too much in that thing and proud, arrogant. But ladies, they don't know any Om mantra, this nothing, and Vedanta Sutra, and they don't know anything. But what they did, already before they heard the glories of Krishna Balaram from Brajavasis, and they developed faith and devotion to them. So immediately when they heard Krishna Balaram, they want to take food, immediately they were ready to serve. So who is superior here? Vedic, those chanters, scholars, all this, or these devotees, ladies? They don't know anything and never chanted Om in their life. But they heard Harikatha and they were ready to serve. And even to this extent that they left their husbands. Husbands did not allow, but they left anyway. So much was their real devotion. So then they served Krishna, Baladev and cowherd boys. Then Krishna told, now you go home. And they said, no, already our husband told us, if you go out, you should not come back. Then Krishna said, no, I am in the heart of every living entity, I know. You can go back, they will accept you. So because these wives, they did service to Krishna, it is like watering at the root of tree, all are properly served. Because of wives doing devotion, their husbands also got benefit by Krishna's grace. So when they went back home, what happened? Those Brahmins, Yagik, they're doing Yagya Om, everything, Swaha, every day doing Brahma Gayatri, chanting everything 3 times daily. But now they understood, oh, we are unfortunate. We could not have devotion to Krishna, but you had. So those husbands and Brahmins, they did dandavat to their wives and took dust from their lotus feet. So who is superior? What we need is sadhu sangha to awaken devotion and service of Krishna and chanting his name. That is the teaching of Mahaprabhu. But if there is some other necessity to like here for Vedanta, then that is also introduced, but not necessary for all this. Or taking sannyas and all this. Prabhupada took sannyas to show the real glory of Babaji. But otherwise there is no necessity of sannyas. And Mahaprabhu also taught, I took sannyas for the service of Krishna. And he used this because other people will respect. So we have to know the purpose. A real Acharya knows everything. So only we have to follow the instruction of Acharya. We should not think by our own. What Acharya says, that we have to do. He knows better. He already taught everything. Taught out everything. No need for us to do. He already taught out everything, and he's giving us what is necessary for us, and not giving that which is not necessary for us. At the appropriate time, by the desire of the Lord, he, means Gopinath Acharya, will take birth as Baladev Vidyabhushan and will conquer Jaipur. He will go there, reveal the commentary named Sri Govinda Bhasya, and liberate the jivas by manifesting service to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. The two brothers, Sri Rup and Sri Sanatan, will tell you all these confidential topics in detail. Hearing the words, so Jiva Goswami did not write commentary to Vedanta, nor Rupa Sanatan. No need. But when need arises, then that was done. So we have to see what is the need, what is not need according to our situation. Gurudev will say, this is necessary, this is not necessary. Hearing the words of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Jiva Goswami started weeping and rolled on the ground. He then fell unconscious. Sri Nityananda Prabhu bestowed his mercy on Sri Jiva Goswami by putting his two lotus feet on his head, thus infusing him with spiritual strength. Sri Jiva Goswami began to dance in the assembly of the Vaishnavas, chanting, all glories to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Nityananda Rai. Seeing Sri Nityananda Prabhu's mercy upon Jiva Goswami, Srivas and all the great devotees present there began to dance and chant the names of Sri Gauranga Nityananda, making the place auspicious with their loud chanting. So Gurudev gave us Panchatattva mantra and Mahamantra. That is necessary. After some time, Sri Nityananda Prabhu stopped dancing, took Jiva with him and sat down. It was arranged for Sri Jiva Goswami to stay in Srivas Angan. Sri Jiva Goswami again came to see Sri Nityananda Prabhu in the evening. Sri Nityananda Prabhu was sitting in solitude, singing the glories of Sri Gaurahari. Sri Jiva offered his obeisances at the Lord's feet. With care, Sri Nityananda Prabhu seated Jiva next to him. Sri Jiva Goswami folded his hands and humbly said, O Lord, please be merciful and describe in detail the true nature of Sri Navadvip Dham. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, I will certainly tell you about this highly confidential topic, but you must keep it in your heart. For now, do not reveal this tattva here and there. At the close of the Lord's manifest pastimes, it will reveal itself naturally. Because otherwise, if you reveal something and they don't know properly how to serve, then they may disturb the Leela of Mahaprabhu. So that is why it has to be kept secret. Only devotees they can know. Otherwise, during the time when Leela is going on, it is not proper that it is revealed to like all who don't have faith, and then they will disturb. This Navadvip is the essence of all holy abodes. After crossing river Shri Biraja, above this material universe, there is Biraja river, Prakriti, undifferentiated, inactive. Here is action, there is no action, no Raja. After crossing that Biraja, Brahma Dham means Brahma Jyoti, and so on, one comes to Vaikuntha. Beyond Vaikuntha is Shvetadvip, Shri Goloka. Above Shri Goloka is Krishna Loka, Gokula and Vrindavan. This abode, Shri Krishna Loka, manifests in two transcendental moods that nourish rasa, sweetness, madhurja, and munificent audarja. Although audarja exists in full within madhurja, and madhurja exists in full within audarja, that section of Krishna Loka in which madhurja predominates is known by fortunate persons as Vrindavan. And the section of Shri Krishna Loka in which audarja predominates is called Shri Navadvip Dham in all the Vedas. There is no difference between Vrindavan and Navadvip. They are distinguished only by rasa. This Dham is eternally perfect, transcendental, and unlimited. A person with material intelligence cannot fathom the extent of it. Influenced by Hladini Shakti, the living entities give up their material occupational duties and attain their real dharma on the strength of eternally perfected knowledge, Nitya Siddha Gyan. Navadvip in its entirety is a transcendental manifestation. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu performs his pastimes in this very Dham. With material eyes, people perceive this place to be like any other. This is because the illusory energy covers their eyes and hides the real eternal abode of the Lord. In Shri Navadvip, there is no mundane place or time that is influenced by Maya, and the jivas here are not entangled in material illusion. However, being bound by his fruitive activities, the jiva becomes controlled by illusion, Maya, and sees Shri Navadvip Dham as a material place. Fruitive activities means when we become averse to Krishna, we don't want to serve him, we want to enjoy Maya, that is fruitive activity. Let me enjoy. So because of this fault, we are enveloped by Maya and we lose our understanding, who am I, that I am eternal servant of Krishna, all this is lost. So with those material eyes, you are unable to see eternal reality. When by good fortune, through his association of saintly persons, that is Sukriti, Prema appears in a jiva, he will see Shri Navadvip Dham as the manifest transcendental Vaikuntha Lok. Then he will always see with his own eyes all the transcendental components of the Dham such as the land and time. Here Vaikuntha Lok means in general transcendental abode. There is no anxiety, no limitation, no distraction, all this. Vaikuntha, eternal place. And here everything is Chinmoy, everything is spiritual there. Even houses, trees, river, everything is spiritual there, no material. That is why Gurudev said everything is very charming and blissful. I have described the real truth of Navadvip Dham in your presence, O Jiva, being situated in pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. Please deliberate upon this Tattva. So on that transcendental platform you will be able to understand. Bicharya dekho jiva hoy Shuddha Sattva. Being situated in pure goodness, transcendental platform, please deliberate upon this Tattva. Bhakti Vinod, desiring to attain the lotus seat of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Navadvip, is revealing this confidential truth. Like that, now we are not realizing that what is Harinam. We don't know. But Harinam is Harinam always. We are unable to see. But by good fortune, when we submit and purify our heart by chanting Harinam and through devotion, then the day will come when we will realize this, who is Harinam? All-powerful, Supreme Lord, eternally existing. It's Harinam. So here, above Biraja, then Brahma Jyoti and Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha, there is Aishwarja, opulence. Their spoken language is Sanskrit. And Devas, demigods also, they are speaking Sanskrit. Like grandeur and Aishwarja Vaikuntha also Sanskrit. But in Golok, Krishna Loka, there Krishna and Radharani, they are not speaking Sanskrit. They are speaking Brajabhasya. It is similar to Hindi, not fully like Hindi, but similar. And in Navadvip, they are speaking Bengali. So that is Madhurja language. That Brajabhasa and Bengali, they are Madhurja. Sanskrit is Aishwarja language. And although Sanskrit is the root of all languages in this world, it is said Sanskrit first has two daughters. One is Hindi, one is Bengali. And only one of them is beautiful. It is said like that. You can guess which one. So it is generally like this. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj explained that if we see from transcendental point of view, Krishna is the source of all avatars, everything. He is supreme. He is supreme avatari, and he is doing like human-like pastimes. Madhurja. Narayan is his avatar. So Sridhar Maharaj said, although in this world it is true that Sanskrit is original language of all other languages, and it is perfect. It is only perfect language. Then slowly it is little reduced in quality. Although it is true that here Sanskrit is topmost and source, but from transcendental point of view, that language which is spoken by Krishna in Vrindavan, that is source of everything. That is the actual source of Sanskrit also, from transcendental point of view, because Krishna is avatari. And Mahaprabhu is also avatari. So in Navadvip, transcendental Navadvip, which also descends here, he is speaking Bangla. Bengali. But they are also speaking some Sanskrit. Mahaprabhu, when like a scholar and like this, they are speaking Sanskrit, Vedic, these scriptures. And in Vrindavan also, there's some Brahmins like this, they're doing some yaga in Sanskrit. And when Krishna goes to study to Gurukula with Sandipani Muni, he's also learning Sanskrit and speaking Sanskrit and in Dwarak like this. But actually our, in this world we have mother tongue according to the place where we were born, and our mother tongue is some language, but that is changeable. Next life maybe you will be born in some other place, then your mother tongue will be something else. But this language, if you are to be taken to Krishna Loka, then you will have that language which is spoken in Vrindavan. That is your soul's language, not mother language, but soul's language. And Bangla also, if your Sarup is also in Navadvip, some have two, one Navadvip, one Krishna Lila. So you will speak this language, transcendental Bangla, transcendental that Brajabhasya. That is original. That is Madhurja language, not Aishwarya. So here we heard that there is Audarja and Madhurja. Audarja means munificence, and Madhurja means sweetness. So in Navadvip, Audarja is prominent, magnanimity, because the Krishna Prem is distributed everywhere. And in Vrindavan is Madhurja, that Lila is going on. So language also is Madhurja and Aishwarya. Tomorrow we will start our Parikrama of Navadvip Dham in this way, because physically we cannot go there, but by reading the book you are also getting the fruit of performing Navadvip Dham Parikrama. It is stated at the end. So we'll do in this way. And it is, as I told, like till 9:15, little longer, because it is more text, so that we have to finish before Gaur Purnima. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Instead of stop recording, I pressed hang up. So I have to stop recording.